The galaxy's most prestigious academy was built not on a planet, but on a massive orbital ring surrounding a star. Known simply as the Interstellar Collegium, it was where young beings from hundreds of species came to learn diplomacy, mathematics, engineering, and, most dreaded of all, physical education. No one really liked PE. For the feathered Tlori, the atmosphere was too thick for their wings. For the crystalline Orvex, running meant scraping their delicate facets. For the amphibious Kroon, dry fields and gymnasiums were torture. Still, the Collegium insisted that cooperation and endurance training were vital. That day, the students shuffled into the enormous gymnasium, its floor adjusting shape and gravity to suit different species. Some had to wear breathing masks, others moved in exosuits. Everyone expected the usual light exercises. But today there was a new student. Their rival. The doors slid open with a hiss. He was human. That was rare enough. But not just any human. His file had already been whispered about in dorm halls. Kieran Vare, listed as a transfer from Class V survival environment. In Collegium records, Class V meant one thing: Death World. Every species had stories about death worlds. Planets where gravity crushed ships, where air was poison, where beasts grew teeth like swords and plants sprayed acid instead of pollen. Very few sentients survived being born there. Fewer still left their homeworld. Kieran stepped in, tall and broad-shouldered. His uniform sleeves rolled up. He looked around casually, as though this was just another school gym and not the most diverse gathering of alien life in the quadrant. The murmurs started immediately. That's him. The Death Worlder. Why would they put him in our class? The PE instructor, a six-limbed Avrian with a whistle permanently around his neck, clapped his hands. Silence. Today we welcome a new student. He will participate in all activities. Treat him as you would any other. Easier said than done. Warm-up. The warm-up was simple. Stretching under low gravity, then laps around the track. Most students struggled with even that. The Kroon wheezed after 2 circuits, their gills flaring. The Orvex cracked small chips off their crystal knees when they bent too far. Kieran. He jogged with ease, then sprinted, overtaking species built for speed. His breathing remained steady, his movements efficient. When the gravity abruptly shifted to double standard, meant to build resilience, several students collapsed. Kieran barely noticed. By the 5th lap, the others avoided looking at him. The instructor barked, "Hydration break." The students gulped specialized nutrient fluids. Kieran pulled out a simple canteen of water and drank without complaint. A Ilari student with translucent skin whispered nervously to her friend, "Water? Just plain water. But it's corrosive to most of us." "On his planet it's everywhere," her friend whispered back. The obstacle course. Next came the obstacle course. Normally, it was adjusted to be survivable. Today, the instructor set it to intermediate difficulty. Walls to climb, pits to leap, ropes to swing, all shifting under variable gravity. The first group stumbled through. The feathered Tlori failed the wall climb, their talons scratching helplessly. The Orvex sank into the shifting sand pit and had to be rescued. Even the best athletes barely finished. Then came Kieran's turn. He crouched low, scanned the course and launched forward. His movements were explosive but precise. He climbed walls as if gravity didn't exist, vaulted pits with a single stride, and when the ropes swung wildly, he clung to them as though born in a storm. Halfway through, the system increased the difficulty. The sand pit turned into sludge. The wall grew slick. Gravity spiked. Students groaned. Kieran only grinned. With a primal yell, he powered through, muscles straining, and reached the finish line in record time. Silence filled the gym. Even the instructor was momentarily speechless. "Acceptable," he finally said, pretending not to be impressed. The alien students looked at Kieran with a mixture of fear and awe. To them, every movement screamed predator. "Partner drills. Pair up," the instructor barked. The students hesitated. No one wanted to be near the Death Worlder. Finally, a brave Tlori raised a wing. "I will." The drill was simple. Push against your partner's hands, testing balance and strength. The Tlori extended their thin, taloned arms. Kieran placed his palms against them gently. The signal chirped. Kieran pushed lightly, too lightly. The Tlori stumbled backward, wings flapping frantically. He caught them before they fell. "Sorry," he said softly. "I'll go easier." But even when he tried to restrain his strength, the difference was vast. The Tlori could barely hold ground. Other pairs stopped their drills to watch, whispering. To them, it looked like a predator toying with fragile prey. When the whistle blew, the Tlori quickly withdrew, trembling. Combat training. The final portion of class was sparring. Normally it was non-contact, just forms and movements. But the instructor, perhaps curious, allowed light-touch duels today. The students paired off again. Sparks of energy blades clashed against crystalline limbs. Amphibians swirled water spheres at each other. It was clumsy but safe. Then the instructor called out, "Kieran Vare, you will spar with me." A collective gasp swept the room. No one dared spar the instructor. He was a veteran soldier, his 6 limbs moving with deadly precision. Kieran nodded and stepped forward. No weapons, just open hands. The duel began. The instructor moved fast, limbs striking from multiple angles. Kieran ducked, blocked, weaved. His reflexes were sharp, movements honed by a lifetime of survival. A downward strike nearly clipped his head. He sidestepped, seized the instructor's wrist, and with terrifying ease, flipped the Avrian onto his back. Gasps erupted. The instructor lay stunned, then slowly got up. His wings ruffled with embarrassment, but he gave a small nod. Efficient. The students were frozen. To them, this wasn't efficiency, it was dominance. Whispers in the dorm. That night, the dorm halls buzzed. He overpowered the instructor. Did you see how he ran that course? Like it was nothing. He drinks poison water like it's nectar. The aliens whispered of claws and teeth, of muscles and speed. Myths began forming around Kieran Vare, the Death Worlder who could crush them with a glance. Some students swore they'd seen his eyes glow in the dark. Others claimed his planet's gravity was triple, that his bones were indestructible, that he wrestled monsters before breakfast. No one wanted to sit next to him in the cafeteria. Trays slid away. Conversations stopped when he walked in. Kieran noticed. He sighed, chewing his plain protein bar, watching the others cluster far from him. He hadn't meant to scare anyone. But fear was all he saw. The truth revealed. Weeks passed. Every PE lesson was the same. Kieran excelled effortlessly. Others struggled. The gap widened until it felt like 2 species, not one class. One day, during a cooperative relay exercise, disaster struck. The Orvex stumbled on unstable ground, their crystalline body fracturing. Sharp shards threatened to shatter completely. Before anyone else reacted, Kieran sprinted across the field. He crouched low, scooping the Orvex up in his arms with surprising gentleness. His muscles flexed under the weight, but his grip was steady.